Yes, what's up? What's happening? Welcome in. It's Boston has entered the chat. He's Travis Thomas. I'm George Balekji in the PNC Bank studio. Got a packed show for you guys today. T, how we doing, my man?
I'm good, man. I'm with you. Unfortunately, listen, the Patriots game didn't go the way we thought.
20-17 OT loss.
However, this Drake Maye kid, oh man, he's got all kinds of moxie, all kinds of intangibles. I love this kid. He can run, he can throw.
We knew it. There are two things we knew coming into today.
What?
Drake Maye can play.
Yeah.
And the Patriots roster is not good.
Yeah, bro.
And the coaching can't be trusted.
No.
And all three things were proven today as well, with rookie mistakes from Drake Maye.
Facts. He needs help. This team, I have no faith, and we'll get into this. I have no faith in the current brain trust, we'll call it, of the franchise to build around Drake Maye. But Lord knows, he needs to be built around.
Interesting. We got a packed show for you guys. Obviously, we'll dive into that OT loss by the Pats as they now fall to 2-7 on the year as they lost out in Tennessee. We'll go around a wild weekend in the NBA from Joel Embiid to DeMar versus Drake. Talk a little Jason Kelce as well. Keep it all Philly sports. We give out our game balls for the Pats. We got our week 9 takeaways, and we'll take a look at Monday Night Football as well.
All right.
Let's start in Nashville, though. So Patriots fall to 2-7, 20-17 loss in overtime against the Titans, where the Pats were -9 in time of possession. Titans had the ball 38 minutes, 44 seconds to 29 minutes for the Patriots. They were -3 in turnovers as well. We saw a strip sack fumble by Drake Maye, 2 interceptions, both at bad times. Of course, one of those a game-sealing one. More importantly, though, we know what characterizes a soft football team because Gerard Mayo told us what a soft football team is.
Sure.
Which was his team against the Jaguars. Can't run the ball, can't stop the run, can't cover the kick. They did fine in covering the kicking game, but Ramondre Stevenson, Jermichael Hasty, Antonio Gibson, 12 carries for a net of 15 yards.
Not going to get it done.
While Tony Pollard, 28 carries, 128 yards on the ground himself. Titans overall averaging 4.3. Look, this is a team. I've said it, and I've said it. I want to see consistency from them. The Jets win was impressive because of the amount of adversity they had to face in the game. Lose Drake Maye, Jacoby steps in. Opposition gives you opportunities to win. They take advantage of it. Now let's see them string it together for multiple games. Yeah. Because going into this, these were the two worst teams in the AFC. You see the difference of coaching and you see the difference of talent shining its face through, where Drake Maye is still great, but a rookie quarterback can only do so much.
Yep.
And in a game where they ran for 110 yards, Drake Maye had 96 of those, all on the scramble. In a game where they had around 300 total yards of offense, Drake Maye had 206 passing and 95 yards rushing. You could put only so much on a rookie quarterback's back, making his 4th start of the game, and we saw that happen today.
Yeah, you can't put more on a rookie quarterback than what the Patriots are putting on Drake Maye, especially in this game against the Titans. I agree with you there. Let's have the big conversation, though, okay? It's the elephant in the room. You and I watched this game together. We watched it with our producers, Ante and Brendan, amongst other peers and coworkers of ours. And there was a big debate the second after we all celebrated Drake Maye throwing the touchdown of, do you go for 2 here or do you kick the extra point and go into overtime?
We were saying it before they even scored. We said if you score,
And I was all on board for going for 2.
Yep, same.
And the debate in the room was, well, if they don't get it, if they don't convert the 2-point conversion, does Gerard Mayo at that point in a winnable game, which is a fair question, in a winnable game, you go for 2, you don't get it, and you lose, does he lose the locker room? Which I think is a fair question, and which is why I'm bringing this up to you. My response is what I want you to answer me. If you're correct, and many of you feel this way, I don't, but many of you do. George, I know you do. Gerard Mayo has job security because Robert Kraft isn't going to fire him. He doesn't want to look wrong, etc.
Yeah.
So if you have job security, let's just go with that. How do you not have the stones to go for 2 is my question. Why the hell wouldn't you go for 2? Your team stinks, and your opposition stinks. Neither one of you are playing for anything other than pride at this point. You ain't going to the postseason. So I look at this and I think Gerard Mayo missed an opportunity here to win the locker room. screw losing the locker room. I actually think if they go for 2 in that spot, George, and they don't get it, you are sending the message to your team that, hey, look, I'm willing to roll the dice with you guys. I believe in you guys. Screw overtime. We can't stop the run all day. You just gave the numbers on Pollard.
Yeah.
Let's just try to win this right now. We have all this momentum. Drake Maye just made this amazing play. Let's go for it. We're on the road. Let's do it. I have job security. I think Jerod Mayo missed an opportunity here to win over the locker room. Forget losing the locker room. If you lose a game because you went for it at the end of the game and you took a chance and you rolled the dice, I think your team would respect you more. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I thought he missed an opportunity there. Okay, play it safe, no problem. I'm sure the analytics said to kick the extra point to go to overtime, and then the same thing we watched for 4 quarters happened in overtime. It was the most predictable Shaq you've ever seen in your life. They ran the ball down your face, okay? So, look, it's maddening to me. And then we know the game-losing interception at the end there by Drake Maye. But I look at this as a missed opportunity for Jerod Mayo and the Patriots to just live a little. Go for it. What the hell? What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? You're going to lose the game any damn ways.
Well, you're not a good team either way either. Like
Right.
no one's expecting you. They were 3.5-point dogs
That's right.
out in Nashville. They had a quarterback that didn't practice all week. He was limited in practice. This is a team playing a better defense than the one they have. A really tough matchup, as you saw what Tony Ballard did to dice him up on the ground. And it took Marcus Jones to have a great punt return at the end to set you up
Right.
on the 50. You go 11 plays, 50 yards, and literally you get down there and on a miracle play where your quarterback ran around for almost 12 seconds, evading 4 different defenders, throwing up a prayer to your running back and Ramondre Stevenson to score, you have no business being there. And we all said, go for it. Before that play, go for it. You're the road team. Road team always plays to win. If you're at home, you can take the tie into OT. You have the home field advantage. But that play, everyone running around, the hardest part was that the Patriots had 0 timeouts.
Yeah.
Now, it's not the 2 at the end of the fourth that had my issue because he called them right before the 2-minute warning to make sure you have that 2-minute warning and stop the clock and get the ball back. This is when you have teams that are not disciplined, like burning a timeout with 11 minutes to go in the fourth.
Yeah.
That would have been more valuable. You do that, you run around, everyone's going crazy, it's a frenzy. Still the game clock going, you need to get a playoff, call a timeout, get everyone settled down, you call a play and you do that. So that's the one issue. Where Jerod Maye was asked was running around a factor, that they were gassed. He said, I don't want to get into it right now. Drake Maye was saying it was nuts too. He didn't even know what was going on. It was a prayer. You go for 2. You have to have the time out there, you go for 2. The issue there, again, when you get into those confines, as every offensive coordinator and every coach should be in, this is what the next play is going to be. If that play succeeds, this is what our play call after that will be. To me, that is on the Jerod Mayos and Alex Van Pelt's. Again, it's tough without timeouts to do it, but there has to be that communication on the sidelines with your quarterback. Hey, we score here. We're going for 2. This will be the personnel. This will be the play call. To have that A-plus play ready to go.
Sure.
The moment got too big for a rookie quarterback, and the moment got too big for a rookie head coach.
It's unacceptable. Well, listen, okay.
In a loss against a 1-win team.
That's right. And
going into this game.
Here's where I am, right? Because this is what bad teams do and poorly coached teams do. And both the Titans and Patriots did this in this game. The Patriots worse, unfortunately. But you brought up the clock management. Check. I mean, you failed that. Turnovers, you lost that battle. Check. Bad team, bad coaching. And then the penalties, George. I mean, both teams were penalized here. I'm not going to, act like the Titans were buttoned up either, but they're a bad team and they're a poorly coached team in my opinion. So I look at this as you're not, from a Jerod Mayo standpoint, what exactly are you bringing to the table,
as
my
those
friend?
continue?
What are you bringing? You're losing turnover battles. Your clock management, you don't have timeouts at the end of the game. Your team is penalized at every turn. Some of those were backbreakers, George. Your side of the football, defense, is getting punched in the mouth over and over and over again. And I understand the personnel conversation. I do. But it kind of goes back to what I was saying to start the show of I don't trust anyone here to build around this special kid in Drake Maye. What we have seen, it's almost, I think I said this to you before, my kids are into like these these cooking shows and these singing shows. They like talent shows, right?
Yeah.
And my kids are so young. They know immediately if someone's talented. Oh, this kid can cook or whatever, right? It doesn't take forever. We've seen enough now from Drake Maye where I'm like, okay, this is the guy.
The base is there.
Yes. But where I have trepidation, where I hesitate, is do I trust Elliott Wolf? Do I trust Gerard Mayo?
No.
Actually, I don't have trepidation. I don't hesitate. The answer is no, I don't. Okay, so this is another example of that. You're turning the ball over. You don't manage the clock well. Mm-hmm. Your team is penalized. Some of those just destroyed you down the stretch, especially. And then your side of the ball sucks. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm missing. What exactly does he bring? And then we watched the post-game press conference together, and he's like, first question. You know it's coming. First question. Hey, man, think you should have gone for it? The 2-point conversion at the end of the I don't want to talk about that right now. It just felt like the right thing to do at the time. That's your answer? Like, this is, I'm telling you, bro, I keep going back to this, and I know I'm beating the same drum, and I will continue to do so. I just don't, for the life of me, see how, in a winnable game that you should have won, now it helps you in the draft, and we can talk about that if you want, but in a winnable game you should have won, those things that I mentioned killed you. Clock management, turnovers, penalties.
Execution.
Not going for the win when you could have.
Game planning.
Not rolling the dice. Not believing in your team.
Yeah.
I don't see any wins left on this schedule. So I just don't see how this coach continues here.
Ramondre Stevenson finished with 16 rushing yards. 17 of his rushing yards were after contact.
What's that tell you?
He's always getting hit behind the line of scrimmage.
That's right.
Same thing last week. 48 rushing yards. I think he had 56 yards after contact.
He's not getting, and that's a guy who needs a head start.
And this is a team. I don't think he does. I think he does a good job of breaking tackles, but you have to help him eventually.
He's not Barry Sanders.
He's looking like it out there. I'm not going to get into the level of play on Ramondre Stevenson because it's fine there.
Sure.
But this is, again, you talk about the Elliott Wolf.
Yeah.
Sure, let's go. Last week, we saw Vidarian Lowe, Michael Jordan, Ben Brown, Mike Onwenu, DeMontre Jacobs do fine against the Jets.
Sure.
You walk out a different starting lineup of offensive linemen. Leighton Robinson at right guard, Mike Onwenu at right tackle. Took you a few drives. You went back to last week's combo where Gerard Mayo said, well, we got to match up with our best on their best, talking about Jeffrey Simmons, and he goes inside of the pocket was looking soft. Again, using the soft word to describe his players and his team. But again, look, it worked last week. Have continuity. Stick with that.
Right.
Like, what are you matchup hunting? Leighton Robinson, who you've brought back in. It's things like that, and that is a reflection on how poorly it's been handled all offseason. Because as Elliott Wolf has done through free agency, the big quarterback you signed, Jacoby Brissett, benched. Joshua Uche, you traded him away for what will essentially be a 7th-round pick, a future 6th. KJ Osborne, healthy and active today. Jalen Reagor, I mean, you've cut him. He didn't make the team. Sione Takitaki, he's not playing. He's still coming back from an injury. Chuks Okorafor, AWOL on the team. Nick Leverett, you cut him from the team. And then you go into the draft of the Jalen Polks, a goose egg on the stat sheet today.
Yeah.
Caden Wallace still injured. Leighton Robinson,
Javon
benched.
Baker.
Once again, Javon Baker doing nothing outside of the return game and not doing anything there.
Right.
And then you trade away Joshua Uche. So when you talk about the trust, I don't have it for Elliott Wolf. As we go game by game to judge Drake Maye and judge these players, and it's a small sample size. We're now 9 games into the season for the Patriots. It's a small sample size, especially for Drake Maye. He can still be a bust. We've only seen it for 4 games.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just saying, and that's where you go with any prospect.
Right.
Now what are we judging Gerard Mayo on? The offseason, the regular season, and it's been fail. As with Elliott Wolf, free agency, draft, trade deadline. Fail so far.
Yep.
And when you're watching this game, for a 1-win Titans team with their backup quarterback in Mason Rudolph, who's a journeyman, whenever they need to get a first down, what was Calvin Ridley? 14, 15, 22, 6, 12 yards, receptions, downfield. The same thing we've seen from Snoop Huntley do against you in a 15-10 loss with Tyreek Hill, where he's contained. You have Christian Gonzalez, and they get open. The drop-off in talent on this team is so bad. This is truly the worst roster in the NFL. There are guys that are good. The Ramondres, the Onwenus, the Drake Mays. the Kendrick Bournes, Hunter Henrys, Austin Hoopers, and there's guys on the defense like a Kyle Duggar, Jonathan Jones, Christian Gonzalez. I don't need to list them all. But those names, those players can only do so much. It is a team sport, and the team on the field for the Patriots is lackluster, and that is because of the front office and their miscalculations every step of the way.
By the way, so listen, I actually think Carolina has the worst roster in the league, but I can't argue with you because they actually won a game this week. I'll say this, let's go with worst roster in the league for the sake of the convo here, right? Because I damn sure ain't going to argue about the Panthers. But if you win this game, let's say you go for 2 and you win the game, all of a sudden, this roster who stinks and no one believes
confidence is up, playing harder, more energy.
I mean, it's just like...
And it's again of... You kind of said, well, would you lose a locker room? You don't go for it. I don't think Gerard Mayo is losing the locker room this week. Like
I don't either.
They didn't execute towards the end.
I said he could have won the locker room.
And the defense,
was my point.
the defense in overtime, really quick. These were the Titans' plays. Their yardage gain: 16-7, 5-5, and complete pass. 14-4, 3-9, 3-5 field goal attempt.
Wow.
Nothing went for less than 3 yards.
Wow.
They pushed them around.
Yeah.
For a defense that was on the field about 7.5 minutes in the fourth quarter. But they were gassed because they were on the field half of the third quarter, one really long drive by the Titans,
right,
and couldn't recover from there. You go for it, though, you're putting it in the players' hands. But again, it's really hard in the frenzy of that backyard football for 12 seconds to get everyone locked back in. Kendrick Bourne said, I was gassed. I couldn't run. The game is lost at multiple points throughout this. One of those factors you could point to, yes, is not going for 2. It's more importantly burning a timeout when you have no business doing so earlier in the fourth, because it shows why timeouts are so valuable, why communication execution is so valuable, because then you have it when you need it late in games, like the Patriots needed it today. Did we get to game balls? Oh, where are we going to go?
Drake Maye, 8 carries, 95 yards.
All on the scramble. Nothing designed. Dude, he had 52 dropbacks today. Insane. He dropped back 52 times.
The reason I bring that up is because I believe you and I see...
He was taking bad hits.
You and I see this world the same way. I just keep going back to this 2-point conversion that was not attempted, right? If you actually design...
Yep.
I mean, imagine that. If you actually design a play for Drake Maye to get out on a boot, just get out on a move and give him the option. RPO. You have the option here.
Yeah. If
it's there, tuck it and run. If not, find your guy. He obviously can scramble around and buy time. We see that time and time again, week in week. And now in this game, in big moments, he did it, where he's buying time, trying to have somebody get open, and they're barely doing it. Why wouldn't you design something for Drake Maye? And not just on this 2-point conversion that I keep harping on, but just in general. All the runs against the Titans were literal. I'm running for my life here. At one point, it felt like Drake Maye just decided, you know what, I'm just taking this game over by my damn self.
Yeah.
No one's catching anything. I'm not getting any time back here. And he just decided I'm going to tuck it and run. Now, he's not sliding. That's another topic for another day. I could use that. But I appreciate the toughness. I just don't think it's going to do him any favors in the long run, especially coming off a concussion last week. But the kid wants to – this is what he is. We talked about this at the draft.
He had 500 rushing yards in college.
He's a dual-threat quarterback. Yeah. Let's call him what he is. There are no design runs for this guy. And it is unbelievable.
And people will be like, well, but Travis, it's working anyway. No, because this is a kid that doesn't want to slide yet or doesn't know how, which is beyond me and all the development and the strides that I'll give credit to.
Sure.
The TC McCartney and AVP, how they cleaned up his footwork, and he's an NFL quarterback. Mm-hmm. All the strides of him not having the decision-making and literally showing he doesn't know how to slide. What a designed run does is puts him in a situation where they go, hey, this is a short gainer. This will give you 5. It'll give you 15. But it'll get you on the outside. Yep. Exactly. Get out of bounds. Go down. Yep. Give yourself up. Instead of on these scrambles where everything's happening so fast, you forget that and you get yourself in situations where you don't know tacklers are coming from. If it's an RPO, if it's a simple read option, if it's whatever, that's what helps because his legs are a valuable asset as much as his arm.
Yep.
You have to protect him. This strip sack, man, the side of his head got slammed on the turf in Tennessee.
He took a couple hits.
Couple tough other hits as well.
Man, yeah, bro.
That's why designed runs matter.
I completely agree. But we're not getting any. It's one thing if we were asking for more of those, George, right? We see 2 or 3 a game, and we're like, oh, we could use more. You're not getting any. It's
exactly.
it's really no excuse for it, and it's all on Alex Van Pelt.
And you can't run the ball with your running back fine. Scrambles are working. There needs to, same thing I want to see week by week. Drake Maye went great. 3 turnovers first start.
Yeah.
0 the second. Knocked out of the game. Aggress back. Bad turnovers. Like the interceptions could have had 3.
For sure.
Strip sack fumble, needs to get that ball out quicker. That game-sealing interception, that was actually his second or third read. He was looking right then left, staring down Booty and misjudged throwing into the wind, and I don't think he saw Malik Hooker. He took a step back into turnover. Again, you want to see improvement week by week. He needs to start sliding when he runs. All right, let's get to the game balls. Offensive player of the game for you for the Patriots.
Drake Maye. It's just not even a question.
I mean, he was the offense.
Yeah, the guy's doing everything. And look, we've talked about this. I like Pop Douglas, but he's not a bona fide number 1 wide receiver, really, or a 2. Drake just has he has nothing. He has nothing. You can't block for me. We can't get a consistent run game. It's funny. The comparisons to Josh Allen, I didn't really see it in the beginning. And I remember going back to the draft and people comparing him to Josh Allen, and I was like, nah, I don't think so. Now that I've watched this kid play, I totally see it. Because for years in Buffalo, Josh Allen has been asked to do everything. Now, granted, he has at least had weapons. Up until this year, he had wide receiver weapons. But he didn't have a run game. It wasn't the best offensive line you've ever seen in Buffalo. And Josh Allen damn sure never met a slide that he likes. He takes hits too.
Still now.
So I now see the comp. I just hope that this team, this franchise, can build around Drake Maye better than Buffalo has built around Josh Allen. I think sometimes these NFL teams fall in love with these quarterbacks who are so dynamic that they almost don't do enough to protect that. They lean on it. Buffalo has become too Josh Allen dependent. That's why they don't have a ring, right?
Yeah.
Look at Mahomes and how he's winning now. Defense, run game. So I just think
they invest in his playmakers. Yes. They continue to invest in the quarterback.
Drake Maye is obviously the offensive player of the game, but we're probably going to say that forever and ever, amen, until they can build something around him.
Yeah. It's the Josh Allen comps I see with his legs, I see with his playmaking ability off schedule. Josh Allen was super raw out of college. I literally completed 53% of his passes.
Right.
Multiple games throwing under 100 yards. Drake Maye as an NFL quarterback is ahead of Josh Allen.
Yes.
On the timeline. Josh Allen, the rookie,
right,
to Drake Maye, the rookie. But around him, Josh Allen, you still need to go out and get him a Stephon Diggs. Still need to get him a Deion Dawkins. Still need to get him an offensive line, a good defense. There's a lot to do. Drake, again, this was case in point. A rookie quarterback can only do so much for you when you're that void of talent in a lot of important spots. Drake Maye is my offensive player of the game, too. The Patriots net 295 yards. Drake Maye had 281. That's it, right there. Bro. Defensive player of the game.
Fatigue. These guys were tired.
Defense is gassed at the end.
Saw brothers on the sideline with the oxygen mask, bro. Like, this is...
When you're on the field for 7 minutes in the third and then 7 minutes in the fourth.
I get it. Yeah. But... You know, look, I'm going to go back to Gerard Mayo here. Not that the defense being tired and being gashed is all his fault. It is the defensive side of the ball. That's your expertise. But I'm not going to put all the blame on him for that. It's more so not having the pulse. I mean, we're watching the game, and we see these dudes are getting beat down. They're getting their hearts taken. They're tired. Pollard is running all over them. And it's like, bro, you don't have a pulse on that? Like, you can't tell your defense is gassed? Why would you want to go to overtime? I'm looking at this like, this is the NFL, George. You're not going to go and get orange slices and a Capri Sun and feel better and go back out there. You're tired.
Yeah.
You're getting your ass handed to you. Let's not go to overtime. Let's try to win this now. We went to overtime, and it was a replay of the 4 quarters. They just kept running the ball. There was no panic there. I wish offensively the Patriots sort of had the same mentality as the Titans, because the Titans just went down. They had a nice drive, took their field goal, ran it down the faces of the Patriots defense, and moved on. Meanwhile, you got Drake Maye out here chunking the ball up in the air, trying to make these Hollywood plays. It's just not going to happen. So fatigue is my defensive player of the game. Not one damn Patriot on defense did anything to write home about for me. So I said fatigue, because that's what won the day.
11 plays in overtime, not including the field goal attempt or the botch snap. All right, so 12 plays. Excuse me, 12 plays in overtime.
12 plays.
8 of them were run plays.
Of course it was.
+7, +5, +5, +4, +3, +9, +3, +5.
We
Those
saw
are the
it
8 run
coming.
plays.
Of course it was.
We said the defense is gassed.
Yes.
That's why you should go for 2. And again, that goes into, I understand the madness. You're on the road. There's a lot of hectic going on.
Yeah.
And your running back and your quarterback, your 2 best players in offense, were in that game-tying touchdown situation when Ramondre caught it. All right, man. I mean, you're the head coach. You have to be ready for every situation. That is, make the right subs. Go jumbo package. Run the ball because that's your highest percentage play.
Yep.
Go for it. At least you put it in the players' hands. They botched it. Defensive player of the game, I put NA, non-applicable.
Yeah.
The Titans ran all over them, and you wouldn't expect that in a 2017 game, but it was that bad. Team MVP?
I mean, it's Drake Maye. My only wish is that the kid could play middle linebacker so he could have stopped the run today. But other than that, of course the turnovers were there, but what do you expect? You're asking him to do every damn thing.
Yeah.
Literally, he did everything offensively for you. Watching the Patriots with Jacoby Brissett was an absolute nightmare, okay? Watching the Patriots with Drake Maye, if nothing else, it is at least entertaining. They're in these games. This kid's special. I at least am happier watching these games now. But Drake Maye is probably, I'm going to go ahead and say, my team MVP every week from here on out.
I like it.
Who the hell else is doing anything?
Marcus
on
Jones.
offense?
Marcus Jones. 62-yard punt return to set up a touchdown last week. 44 yards, 25 yards, setting up the offense.
Imagine if you had a good defense, you didn't turn the ball over, you got Marcus Jones giving you good field position, you got Drake Maye making plays, you don't get stupid penalties.
Yeah.
This team, they could win games with that formula.
Yeah.
They could.
Week 1, we saw it. Last week, we saw it. To an extent, they didn't run the ball. It's, again, you get no consistency with them. All right, let's get to the NBA.
All right.
Let's talk about something fun.
Drake May's fun.
Drake May's fun. Oh, by the way, you want to get more Patriots, check out the latest episode of Foxborough Rush, wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Prime. Please like, subscribe, download, rate, reviews, Travis, Thomas, and myself.
Yes, Lord.
That is a full 45 minutes, all Patriots talk, breaking it down. And this week, we get into the Patriots sitting with the number 1 overall pick in the draft.
Woo!
We're already looking ahead to the draft because that number 1 overall pick means a lot and everything they can do. Again, that is Foxborough Rush, wherever you get your podcast.
Yes, Lord.
So let's get into the NBA. Let's start with Joel Embiid. So we saw the quotes come out Friday, him holding court and saying basically, I've done, to the extent, he said, I've done way too much for this effing city to be going through what I'm going through. And everyone's saying, well, this, that, listing out, you've battled through injuries, which he has. He literally played in the playoffs with a bad knee and going through Bell's palsy. Like, absurd. Mm-hmm. Everyone's going, well, you've never made it past the second round. What he was pointing to was Marcus Hayes, who's a writer, longtime writer in Philly, alluded to his dead brother in an article. And was the excerpt, which was taken out.
It was taken out eventually.
So I'm going to read it for anyone that may not want to hear it, but it was, quote, Joel Embiid consistently points to the birth of his son, Arthur, as a major inflection point in his basketball career. He often says that he wants to be great, to leave a legacy for the boy named after his little brother, who tragically died in an automobile accident when Embiid was in his first year as a 76er, end quote. So that's why he said, I've done way too much for this city. Basically saying, keep my dead brother's name out of your mouth. Like, you can say I suck.
Sure.
You can say I'm out of shape. You can say I'm not a good player, but you don't talk about my family. Completely agree. Mm-hmm. You go to Saturday night and he got into a quote unquote physical altercation, basically. And the reports from David Aldridge, who is an institution of basketball, there was post game. Embiid didn't play. They're talking to Tyrese Maxey. Marcus Hayes was there. Joel Embiid sought him out. They went back and forth for like 90 to 20 seconds. He shoved Marcus Hayes in the shoulder. Hayes did not respond. And a lot of people are going, to me, and there was reports of him punching him in the face. Look, I don't blame Joel Embiid for getting this mad at that guy, Marcus Hayes. Especially some of the excerpts of like older articles I was reading of him. There's being critical, which I am all the time, with teams here in Boston, which we both are. There is a line that you cross at certain points, certainly talking about A, his son, B, his dead brother. That crossed that line, no problem. You know me, man. You F around. You find out at certain points. Joel Embiid shoved him. Didn't sound like he was hurt. It wasn't like people saying assault, just an altercation. Fit here for Embiid. I'm with him on this one.
Look, I was with him until the physical altercation part.
Interesting. Okay.
My thing is this. This dude apologized. He took it out of the article. It didn't belong in there to begin with. This guy needs to be checked from his employer. Like, what's going on? Like, this guy, I mean,
yeah, that's
as
on
you
the
said,
editor to
that's
let
what
it be
I'm
in the
saying.
article.
He's wrote about his family before. I'm sure Embiid checked him then. And then even in this article, what you just read, it had nothing to do with anything. Like, I think this guy has it out for Joel Embiid.
Oh, he does. You read his older articles.
Clearly,
He
right?
does.
So what needs to happen is, and we deal with this, luckily, I mean, I feel like our employer is on top of things like this, but this should have been checked from multiple people before Joel Embiid had to get physical. I just disagree with that. I think at the end of the day, you could go up, you could say, you could have a verbal altercation if you want, but putting your hands on someone, I'm never going to green light that, right? Especially Joel Embiid to some puny little writer, please. But my bigger point is the paper needs to be on top of this guy. The 76ers need to be on top of this guy. Hey, what are you doing, man? You're talking about this guy's family, blah, blah, blah. Stop it. Tell him to stop. If he keeps doing it, fire his ass. Like, or suspend him. Do whatever you got to do. It should have never got to this. It put Joel Embiid in a tight spot where now I'm with him all the way up into that point. When you put your hands on someone for words, you lose me there. You're Joel Embiid. You're 7 foot 700 pounds. Like, come on, bro. Like, relax. So shoving the guy in his shoulder or whatever you said he did.
Shoved him in the shoulder.
I mean, you could have ended this guy's shoulder. Like, this is a giant. So there, I'm not with Embiid to that point. I don't think it needs to go to that point. But this guy should have been checked long ago. Not even it shouldn't even have got to Joel Embiid.
He should not have been allowed in the arena.
Right.
And if anything, Joel sought him out. They spoke for 2 minutes. So I'm assuming also over the course of that 2 minutes of him going, listen, man, don't put my dead brother in there. I'm not sure how Marcus Hayes was responding and how it was being received on his end.
I mean, clearly it wasn't good.
I understand where Joel Embiid's coming from, that he was pissed off enough that he did shove him.
Sure.
Like, I honestly do. Because if you're not going to listen to me, if you're going to continue to take shots at my family, guess what? F around, find out in that way. And like, yes, I'm not, if you punched him in the face, I'd be like, dude, you do not do that.
Right.
Especially that guy's older. Joel Embiid, as you said, 7 foot.
Yeah, bro.
Obviously, like
you
huge
just don't
dude.
need to do it.
I understand that he can get that mad. And as you saw and heard it from, he said, you can say I suck. You can talk bad about me, my game on the floor, whatever you want to say. You don't talk about my family. I see why I got to that point. There should have been something by the 76ers. And this is where they should have set them up. Hey, we're going to do a phone call. Called him out of the press. He wasn't there. Talked to him on the phone. Joel's not playing in games. So literally he could take the time like while game's going on to start. Call him up. This is where it gets too far. 76ers, NBA should have been better with security. And I'm surprised no one stepped in to intervene too, because you see him going back at it. Hey, just leave. Get out of the locker room to Hayes and make sure Joel Embiid cools down.
Listen, the same way the 76ers are trying to protect his health, right?
Yeah.
By not having him play and sitting and all this.
Yeah.
You got to protect. It can't just be one-sided, bro. Like, you got to protect your players from everything. This guy's a moron. He's been taking shots. It's clearly personal. I don't know what the hell his problem is with Joel Embiid. It's clearly personal. You got to nip this stuff in the bud. If it gets to the level that it got at, where we are talking about it on this show about Joel Embiid being in a physical altercation with some dweeb who has it out for him writing stories about him, it's already gone too far. And it means the 76ers, the NBA, and whoever this dweeb works for all fumbled. All of them. They all screwed it up.
So that was, at what points, timestamps, I don't know. While this is happening, the clips are coming out from Toronto. Drake was on the Raptors broadcast.
Oh, God.
It was Vince Carter night. Banner raised for VC. First player to have his number retired in Raptors franchise history. They're bringing up DeMar DeRozan. And Drake goes, if you ever put up a DeMar DeRozan banner, I'll pull that thing down myself.
Oh, shut up.
Obviously, Drake doesn't like DeMar DeRozan because DeMar DeRozan's from LA. Meant a lot to the city of Toronto. And Drake and Kendrick Lamar obviously have their rap beef, where Drake was absolutely bodied every single step of the way.
Yes.
Drake, stop, bro. Like, DeMar means so much to that franchise. Right. If his numbers retired, I wouldn't be shocked. You ever put that banner, I'll pull that thing down myself. Why? Why should it not be up there? Because you picked a fight that you could not own up to. You got owned, and then you're mad that a guy from LA, where obviously Toronto means a lot to him, backed up another guy from LA. Like, why? He's supposed to pick Toronto because of you? Just stop. And there was a clip of Drake after the final buzzer. If it was louder than a whisper, I'd be surprised. But like looking at DeMar, and the lip reader said what he said. He was like, "F out of here," and he said another word I'm not going to say.
Yeah, he was mean mugging him the whole game.
But he made sure to say it at the level that there's no chance he would have been hurt.
Of course. Listen, bro. I think everything you said was well said. You pretty much covered every base. There's not much more for me to add. I'll just piggyback. Like you said, DeMar DeRozan means a lot to that franchise and the history of that franchise. I agree. I think he means more to LA. And what did the guy really do? I mean, he just repped where he's from.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure him and Kendrick have a great relationship. So he got on stage and danced with every other NBA player from LA who was there, and every other hip hop band from LA who was there at the concert. Drake, man, like, I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he act tough, and this is the problem.
And again, he said that in a setting where DeMar DeRozan could not hear him. DeMar's not in the game. He's playing.
Exactly.
Like, there's no chance he actually hears him.
No.
And again, he does this where DeMar doesn't know about it until after the game. And he was asked, he was like, he's going to have a long way to climb. Tell him good luck, which I loved.
It's also funny, too. Yeah, he handled it great. It's also funny, too, that, people around Drake claims that, well, the beef didn't really bother him.
He's still catching L's, man.
He's still the number one stream. It clearly bothers him. Yeah. Clearly.
Yeah. All right, let's end it with one more look at the weekend. We'll go football here, though. Jason Kelce.
Oh.
So Jason Kelce was like on the set of College Game Day. He attempted some kicks. Obviously, Eagles legend. Was there for the Penn State-Ohio State game.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was like walking to the stadium at this point. Multiple people putting their phones in his face. Don't know exactly what someone said. You can find it on Twitter. It is a word you should never say.
Sure.
You deserve to get punched in the face.
Yeah.
A fan said something to Jason Kelce, basically about his brother Travis dating Taylor Swift.
Right.
Why are you digging on him? Travis is dating the most popular person in the world.
Look at it.
Jason Kelce grabs the phone, spikes, perfect. Then picks it up and walks away with it. Look, like this guy putting his phone in his face, and you could tell the way he's standing, he's like saying something, like hood on, hiding his face. And Jason's just like, I've had enough. I'll grab this phone. I'll pay whatever you want to charge me with. You want a new phone? I'll buy you a new one, maybe. Slams it to the ground. Again, it is the mess around, find out, and people just growing up saying things without getting any repercussions because you can't do stuff because of cameras. I think he handled that beautifully.
Right, I need
Take
you to
the
run
phone
that back.
and smash it. Don't hit the guy. Just grab it right out of his hand, smash it, and then pick it up and walk away with it.
This is the way you handle conflict. Ryan, can we run this video back? This is what Joel Embiid should have did to that dweeb's laptop. Write this in your story. Keep my brother's name out your mouth. Yeah! Break the laptop. You don't have to push or put your hands on someone or punch them or any of that. No. What you say? Oh, you're taking video? Not anymore, you not. Hulk smash. And then, see, this is why it's brilliant. All right, thank you, Ryan. This is why it's brilliant. Because a big joker like that, you said something out of pocket, cool. Take your phone out your hand. You're not stronger than me, okay? So I'm going to take this, crush it, look at you. Problem? Didn't think so, and walk off.
Mm-hmm.
This is what Joel Embiid should have did. Break all his. What do you write with? He was an old man, you say, right?
Yeah.
You got a typewriter? Old. What are you writing with? Huh? You got a scribe? Whatever it is. Maybe he's in 2024. Maybe it's a tablet, laptop, whatever. Break it all up. I'd break everything there. They'd have me on video stomping on all of it. But what they can't catch me with is an assault charge or any of that nonsense. That's how you handle it right there.
There's an assault charge that comes out of a shove, which I don't even know how hard the degree of the shove was.
I'm telling you right now.
That's the world we live in, 2024.
George, I'm be honest, bro. I'm be honest. I'm in my prime. I ain't no old man. However, if Joel Embiid big ass walking here right now, and even like just like this, look.
Oh, I am collapsing.
My neck and my back.
I'd be.
I need 8.9 million cash cash.
You know, it'd be the best thing is like basically that Hayes guy can retire off a settlement.
Facts.
Joel Embiid sends him away. He doesn't write about it anymore.
Well, maybe it's worth it.
Be winning the lottery,
for all
basically.
that, he should have punched.
My favorite part of the Jason Kelce is like watch that video. There's like 3 different angles. Every single time the sound of that phone being slammed to the asphalt is sweeter than the last.
Dog. That's a big man.
Yeah, like what are you doing putting? And it's Jason Kelce. He's like one of the most likable guys in sports. Period.
Right.
What are we doing?
Yeah. That's
what are
crazy.
we doing? Hey, make sure to call in the hotline. 617-790-0928. Leave us a voicemail or email us thechat@nesson.com. Leave your name, don't, anonymous or not. We'll still bring you guys into the chat at 617-790-0928 or email us thechat@nesson.com or tweet #thechat and add Travis and I and Nesson as well to enter the chat yourselves. Real quick, week 9 takeaways. Just want to highlight Derrick Henry, now 8th all time for rushing touchdowns, scored his 100th and 101st of his career, and doing this against the Broncos, one of the best defenses in the NFL, and the Ravens. Dropping 41 on them.
Yeah, listen, I'm less surprised about the Ravens at home and the big crab cake. You know what they do. And the Broncos are a fine team, but they're not some elite team. So I wasn't shocked by that. The Derrick Henry passing Barry Sanders on that all-time list for rushing touchdowns.
Along with Marshall Faulk and Sean Alexander.
Bro, I'm telling you, I think, and I said this to you earlier off camera, and you said, no, we talk about it. But I didn't mean literal we. I don't think fans of the NFL, talk about Derrick Henry enough in the all-time conversations. That's my issue. I said to you, well, we don't talk about it. You're like, yeah, we do. You and I look at him, surefire, a Hall of Famer, of course, but he is now starting to get in that rarefied air. I've seen some great backs in my lifetime, so have you. He's there.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, it's going to get to a place where it's like, I'm going to tell my grandkids about Derrick Henry. He was that damn good. This guy, with his size, his speed, his agility, his mentality, we've seen a lot of big backs in the league over the history of the league who don't necessarily run big. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Big body, but they kind of tiptoe a little bit, not shy away from contact, but they're not looking for it. This guy will run your ass over, okay? You will be roadkill messing with Derrick Henry, but he can also outrun you. I just think we need to start having bigger conversations. Is he on the Mount Rushmore? Not yet. Not yet. But I tell you one damn thing, the way he's running right now, if he could do this in the postseason, which as long as he's healthy, I believe he can.
Yep.
I mean, let's call it what it is. Ravens beat the Chiefs, or Ravens finally get a Super Bowl or something like that.
He's that key piece for Lamar to win it.
He is going to get in that conversation for Mount Rushmore. You're gonna start hearing more Derrick Henry. Maybe we haven't taken him as seriously as we should have in the all-time conversations.
He'd be up there with the Sanders, the LTs, the Emmitt Smiths, Adrian Petersons.
None of the people you're naming have his attributes. None of them.
My God.
None of them are as big.
At his size, no.
He's bigger than Adrian Peterson was.
Yeah. He's
more explosive. I mean, it's unbelievable what he's doing.
And he's on track to score like 16, 17 rushing touchdowns. He's done that twice in 19 and 20. It's 2024. With all the mileage he has. This is year 9 of his career where he's led the league. And rushing attempts, not even getting into yards. 4 separate times. He currently leads in rushes this year. He's on pace to run for over 2,000 yards again. And if everyone's going to go, well, it is insane what he's doing at his size, the beating he takes, and to continue to be available and to get into the end zone like that.
I've asked former players, how would you, if you were still playing today, how would you tackle Derrick Henry? And
jump on,
these are
go for the
machismo
ride.
guys. These are machismo guys. So I was expecting, oh man, I just got to go heads up. No, all of them said you can't go to his legs because he's waiting for that.
Yeah,
and he will destroy you. You obviously can't go up top on him. It's over.
You fall.
You have to
jump on.
Try to time it, take the angle, and jump on him, and hope that your teammates go for the ride with you, and that all of you can bring them down. I've never heard an answer like that in my life, and that stuck out in my head. Like, this guy, you have defenders filled with pride and crazy rage, looking for a fight, looking for contact, saying, well, I think we're just all going to have to jump on his back and hope we can get him down. What? That's insane to me. I'm telling you, I think this dude has a chance to climb higher on the all-time list than maybe we're giving him credit for or realizing it in the moment.
8th all time with 101. He could get 8 more. That put him at 109. That'd put him 6th all time, just behind Walter Payton, Adrian Peterson, Marcus Allen, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Emmitt Smith.
Listen to those
Smith
backs.
with 164.
Listen to those
all
backs.
times.
Insane.
Well, Jim Brown is 6th with 106. The guys ahead of him right now, John Riggins, Jim Brown,
Crazy.
Walter Payton. Those are the attainable
All
guys he could
times.
pass. Yeah, exactly. He's going to go down as an all-timer, no doubt about it. There needs to be a better appreciation for him
I think so.
right now. I don't think it's there, but it's not as there as it should be.
That's right.
And still, for him to be at the peak of his powers, absolutely insane.
My point is this season can change that.
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure. It'll change the narrative a lot. Dude, he's the best non-quarterback in the league right now.
I can't argue that.
Yeah. Literally, he's shifting them.
I can't argue that.
Echo chamber. I like
And by the way,
in a good way.
in a league where they don't value running backs anymore, right?
Yep. But you see how much it matters.
That's right.
One more.
Okay.
One of the greatest owners of all time. We didn't need him. Instead, I signed Ezekiel Elliott. And you see that? We benched him. I signed him. I saved money.
Zeke is washed.
He hasn't been showing up to meetings. Oh, he was washed with the Patriots, but I showed you guys something.
Facts.
Jerry Jones, you idiot. All right, let's get into a Monday Night Football preview. Buccaneers at Chiefs. This one
Yeah.
should be exciting. Chiefs are favored by around 9.5, 10, depending where you look.
Yeah.
Look, KC's a lone remaining undefeated team. Tampa is, playoff hopes on the line on this
They're
one.
reeling, too. A lot of injuries.
A lot. They're currently 4-4. So they're outside looking in the NFC to get in to the postseason.
Yeah.
Look, I don't think this can be a close game at all. You have a Chiefs offense that is still top 10 in scoring with a top 5 defense with Patrick Mahomes, DeAndre Hopkins, a week more vet in that system, right? All the additions they've made. Got better on defense with Joshua Uche. And you have a Tampa defense that's banged up and bottom 5 in the league. Like, not to cut to the chase in a way. Receivers are injured. Mike Evans is still out. Obviously, Godwin's gone. They've made no additions. Not to cut to the chase, but on this one, this is a 34-13 final.
Sheesh.
Chiefs winning. It's not even close.
Man.
This Tampa team was good. Those injuries caught up quick.
You're making me want to gamble. Look, I'm not betting this game, but my score prediction, I guess, would have Tampa covering here. It's more about Kansas City and how they win, which is where I'm having a problem getting to your score. Meaning, I think it's going to look like every other Kansas City game. I think it is a Monday night stage. Obviously, Mahomes, Kelce, DeAndre Hopkins now. You got to throw in there who's another primetime player, big stage. They're going to shine. But what does that mean? Is Mahomes going to throw 3-4 touchdowns? I don't think so.
No.
Is Kelce going to go off like that? I don't think so. Is DeAndre Hopkins? Look, I think methodically they're going to move the ball on the Buccaneers. But I don't see some track meet number from their standpoint. Yeah. I understand you're giving all the numbers, all the scoring to Kansas City, but I'm not even there. I think it's going to be methodical. I think it's going to be led by defense. And I just don't think the Bucs have the horses. They're not healthy enough. Baker will keep them in there. I'm going to go 24-16 Kansas City in a game that doesn't.
Awful.
It's not terrible. But
that was a New Orleans game, 26-13.
But I'll say this: 24-16 Kansas City. But the score is closer than the game feels.
This Tampa team is so banged up. And this Kansas City defense is so good. By the way,
they're so good.
I have them breaking 30. That would be a season high in scoring.
That's
for the
what
Chiefs.
I mean. That's my point. I think this is going to look more like every Chiefs
But this Tampa
game.
defense can't get stops. They let up almost 400 yards of offense a game. They're one of the worst in scoring. And for how bad this Chiefs offense has looked, they're the 9th best scoring offense in the NFL.
They're efficient.
Yeah.
They
get it done. And they've made upgrades where Tampa's banged up on the back end of their defense. They're banged up on the outside. It's just going to make life easy for this Chiefs defense. Chiefs are at home. It's a long week of prep for them just because it's a Monday night game.
Sure.
And I understand where this is a team that they only beat the Raiders 27-20, right? And they've had their close games like with the Chargers and the Falcons. I think it's more of a reflection of how bad this Tampa team is at this point with the injuries, with the bad defense, than more of my faith in Kansas City. But Kansas City's so talented, so well coached. And I think the defense will just squeeze the life and suffocate Tampa. More opportunities for the Chiefs. They just separate themselves. I don't think it's going to be. It'll be close for a quarter, maybe a half. But there's just going to be the separation of how good this KC team is.
All right, so look, I told you in a rare occasion that I'm not betting the game per se. It sounds like you're laying the points. But
yeah,
I do have a bet that I like in this game. I want to run it by you. Travis Kelce just scored his first touchdown last week, right?
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? His first touchdown of the season he scored last week. Travis Kelce anytime touchdown, plus 105. Monday night.
That's it?
That's it. Monday night, the stage.
I don't like that.
Kelce Mahomes. I love that bet.
What's DeAndre Hopkins?
Oh, plus 180.
He just scored a touchdown.
So
His
you don't
Tampa
like
defense is bad though.
So you would bet Hopkins
I mean,
over him?
it is but it's fine. It's even money for a Kelce touchdown.
Yeah.
Where always that's gonna be minus 140,
Right.
minus 160. So it's fair. It's a valuable price for Travis Kelce.
All right.
But you said it's a first touchdown of the season. Not a bad bet though.
Last week.
It took him.
It took him whatever week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
8 games to get to that
Damn,
point.
what week? We're halfway through the season? Almost. Lord have mercy.
Well, we're 9 games in, depending if your team has had a bye or not.
I'm going to tell you, man, the Patriots will age you. It feels like this season
Trav,
should
they don't
be
have
over.
a bye till week 14.
Oh.
Keep in mind, they said no to an early bye, too.
Oh.
It was, hey, do you want to buy? I forget, maybe it was coming off the London game. They were offered, and they were like, no, it's fine. And then they got booted to week 14.
This damn Patriot team is aging me every week, yo. This feels like the season should be over. We got more than a half a season left.
It was a weird one today, too.
Can we bench Drake May and go back to Jacoby to preserve Drake May for the future?
Are you effing kidding me?
We're going to get this kid.
Are you kidding me?
George.
You?
I know.
Me?
All the hits.
F you.
It's too many hits.
Are you kidding me?
You're going to get him hurt. Put him in a bubble. Is there a hyperbaric chamber?
I'm about to go Joel Embiid on your ass. Shove you off that chair. Are you kidding me? No. Pandora's box is opened. Just me talking about the offensive line sucks.
Sorry, Joel.
You can't protect them.
I didn't mean
Don't
that.
play him until the O-line's ready in the situation. Play him week 1.
Can we just put him in a bubble?
Oh. This is it. I'm cutting this show before.
Bro.
The betrayal.
Here, Jason Kelce, my pen. Oh my God. The reverb.
He's Travis Thomas. I'm George Balekji. This is Boss's End of the Chat. The follow through, I hit the chair.
That
Kind
was
of hurt.
crazy.
Good bounce on that.
Could have taken an eye out.
Make sure to like, subscribe, download, rate, and review the podcast wherever you get your Spotify, Apple, Amazon Prime. Go to Nesson's YouTube page, hit the subscribe button. Call in 617-790-0928. Email us, the chat at Nesson.com, and tweet at us with the hashtag the chat. Should Drake May be put in a bubble? Let us know.
Drake May, run for your life.
He's Double T. I'm GB. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.